It's really easy to get caught up in your own life, school, family. It's easy to forget about the experiences someone else is having. Sometimes, seeing or being part of someone else's experience can really change you. It teaches you about how you are different and it teaches you about how you are similar. But seeking out those experiences can be hard. It takes energy and time, and it might take you out of your comfort zone.
So I'll read some, and then if you raise your hand, if you want to read, you can read some too.
So, why do it? The world is getting smaller and smaller all the time, but unless you actively reach outside your own life bubble, you'll miss that. If you don't reach outside your comfort zone, you won't grow. And what's the point of life if you stop growing?
First, I'd like you to tell me how you got our school into the Kenya tutoring and what it's like for the students involved here and the students involved there.
I had worked in Kenya before, and I really fell in love with the country and the people, and I was trying to figure out a way to get back there and connect with those people. So he and I sat down and brainstormed, and I said, what if I got a bunch of students? And he was really excited, and he actually wants to try and build a program out like that now. So that's how it started. It started with 10 kids last year, and then we've grown to 20 kids this year. Everyone comes in the morning before school. I get here at 6:30. The first tutors come in before 7, and we call in, and each of them spends half an hour one-on-one with a student. And I think it's been really powerful because our students are building relationships with kids in a very poor village. Some of them are orphans, some of them have HIV or AIDS. All of them are incredibly poor and live with no electricity, no running water. I think it's caused both sides of the equation to grow and develop an understanding of someone who's totally different from them.
So tell me about the school and why you actually went there this past break.
It's one thing to have a relationship that's virtual, where I feel like Mika, who's the director, and Anthony, who's the head teacher, are my friends now, but I've never met them in real life. That's like this feature of the modern world that's so strange. And also, I wanted to see, as a teacher, I know what things look like in a classroom, and I kind of wanted to get a better sense of what's really happening in the school and what really are the needs, and is this real? I mean, I wanted to confirm a few things as well. So that was my main reason for going, plus it was a really good excuse to go back to this country that I love so much and back to the tribe of people that I love so much.
So what was the life like when you were there for these students and teachers, like their houses, their food, what they did when they weren't in school?
Most, if not all, of the students in this school, and there are 160 of them.
And which class is this?
The only meal they will eat is the meal provided at lunch by Mika to the students. Many of the students there, we toured through 4 homes, and there aren't a lot of men in a lot of their lives. HIV and AIDS has devastated this community.
Nice to see you.
This is Paul.
Hi, Paul.
The oldest.
Habari zenu?
Same mother.
Okay.
You see how they look alike?
Yeah.
Like mine.
Ah.
My house. This is his first cousin.
Okay.
And there are a lot of widows and a lot of infected children, and the widows themselves are also infected. So there's a lot of kids who are either partially or completely orphaned. None of them have electricity. None of them have running water. All of them live in shelters that are built from animal dung and dirt that are made into clay, with metal roofs and dirt dung floors. It's a very basic life. They don't have access to virtually anything.
You talked about the lumberyard, so what exactly happened there with the desks in the lumberyard?
So I watched the kids during the course of the day, each day that we were there. When it was time for lunch, the kids, little kids, 7-year-olds, would get, 3 or 4 of them would get inside these sort of picnic table benches that they use as desks. And they would have to run across the dirt yard and go into another building for lunch. And I thought, gosh, I can't believe they have to move things around so much because they have so few desks. So I asked, how much do you think something like that would cost to make? And he said, in dollars, it would be like $8 for a desk. So he and I sat down and we figured out how many desks we thought we needed, and he figured out how many linear foot we would need of lumber, and then I asked if they would take me to wherever you buy lumber in this area. So we went to this lumber yard, this chaotic mess of wood that's just in the town, and they were really surprised to see us. I don't think they've ever had a foreigner come and buy lumber. So the next day we watched as the fundi, as he's called, he's the carpenter, started to make the desks. He showed up with a hammer and a saw. No level, no tape measure, no pencil for marking, no calculator. He just did kind of this stuff, put things sawed, hammered, and made 50 desks over the course of the next few days. Which was a really good, tangible thing that they needed, that I knew we were getting our money's worth, that I knew was completed, that really made a difference in the school.
Obviously, all these conditions like $50 a desk and all these no running water, little food. What was it like for you coming from here to go live there for that time?
First time I lived in Kenya was surprising and difficult and an adjustment. This time I knew what to expect, so I really felt comfortable and totally, it was no big deal. I think it was interesting for me to watch Fiona. She adapted really quickly as well, but it can be really tiring when you're in a place where simple things like getting clean or going to the bathroom are a major deal.
All these houses will have the latrine, which is there, which
compared to what we do here, and the food is different and sometimes really not what you want to eat. So it can be really tiring.
So how do you relate them to St. Edward's, like that school? Like, what are the similarities and differences of being there when you were observing their
It's
school?
fun when you're a teacher. You can go to a place like this, and the playground, although they don't have any equipment and it's dirt, looks the same in a lot of ways. The kids are running around, they're playing, they're poking at each other, they're laughing, they're playing games. They do lines to their classrooms. They eat lunch together. They sit in their classes. They have a teacher at the front of the room. They have security, like we do. We have our school resource officer, Officer Cleveland, who patrols the hall as a sheriff's deputy with all of his weaponry. They have their school resource officer. He's a Maasai warrior who dresses in regular Western attire and carries a machete. And he's a really scary dude. Underneath all the, he looks very simple, but when you see him in action, he's a pretty scary guy.
So are there any remaining thoughts or anything you want to say else about the trip?
I think I wish that I could take every kid at this school on a trip like this. Because I think even if you think you really do understand how privileged you are, like on a cognitive level, on an intellectual level, I don't think most kids really get it until they go, most adults, until they go into a space that is really different. And I think it changes your perspective when you see people who have absolutely none of the things that you have every single day of your life. And you see them laughing and giggling and carrying on and living a full, wholesome, happy, faith-based life or whatever it is.
She wants to pray.
okay.
Ruoth Nyasache wakendo wuonwa Nyasaye modak apande polo malo hono mar Wuod Sinai. Goni erokamano kuom wuotho gi jotichni mochopo ka gimokelo gi ng'eyo Nyasaye wadwa wuoyo kodgi jadolo maber idolie rach tiriembi to mana kuom mapiny Yesu jawarwa.
Amen.
You realize how the things you surround yourself with here don't give you happiness. And I think it's a valuable experience to get really far out of your comfort zone and to really get perspective on the things you have and how good your life really is. I think that's probably the thing that sits with me the most.